We are back for redemption. After being chased out of San Luis Potosi by cold weather and overcast, only to be laid up with food poisoning in Guanajuato, we are returning to the magical waterfall state to give ourselves one last shot in enjoying the region of Huasteca Potosina with the sunshine and heat. We have our sights set on catching the biggest, baddest, most impressive waterfall in the area before leaving. This is overlanding Mexico, so buckle up and let's roam. So something happened last night that we haven't seen since we got to Mexico. It rained last night. For the first time in Mexico since we got here, we actually heard falling rain on the top of the van. We've seen like a kind of soaking mist, but yeah, first time in probably a month and 3 weeks that we've seen rain. It's been crazy dry here, but boy, was it ever nice to hear rain on the roof for the first time in so long. And you can smell it. It's great. You can smell like the trees and the dirt. Oh, it's just delightful. We've been at this spot for a night and intend to stay another. It's one of those rare spots where you're hidden away just out of sight. There's flowing water and little to no intrusive noise. In other words, it's a great place to regroup in preparation for a long day of driving. The sun is hot, the water is cool, and for a brief time, this is home. Alright, well, this spot has been absolutely fantastic for the last 2 nights. It's been absolutely beautiful, but it's time to move on. We are still in Querétaro, but we are on our way back to SLP, and that is to swing back and catch, as my friend Matt has called it, the granddaddy of waterfalls in the Huasteca Potosina area. We've got like maybe a 2 or 3 hour kind of overlandy route to get to our next camp spot for the night, and then we will go to Tamul, which is a massive like 150 meter waterfall in Huasteca Potosina, and then we'll finally continue south again. So let's do it. One of the things that is equally nerve-wracking as it is exciting while traveling like we do is the total unknown of what's ahead of you. When you're not traveling packaged routes made by Google and instead driving cross-country via a network of combined tarmac and gravel roads, it's hard to know what you'll find. In today's case, unexpected, unforeseen, and unreal are great words to describe our experience.
Look at this little beauty. Oh my goodness. That's a rig right there. I like that. Overlander.
Sounds cabbage.
Okay, scientific test. Do photos like cabbage? Very scientific. Just put it on the ground, babe. See if you can sit on the ground. Whoa.
Oh, you're nice. Oh.
Today feels like an especially good day. Maybe it's the breeze, the sunshine, or the easy rhythm of the road. As we drive through these charming Mexican towns, waving at friendly faces, we're struck by how happiness thrives here. We've been listening to a podcast on the Plenty Paradox, the idea that wealthier nations often rank lower in happiness. And as we watch life unfold around us, it's pretty clear. Joy isn't measured in material wealth, but in kindness, community, and simple human connection. People are happier here. The warmth of a smile, a wave, a friendly hello that is passed to us in a momentary roadside interaction are small gestures that always lift our spirits, even on the hardest travel days. Maybe that's why today feels so good. Maybe Mexico's happiness is contagious and we're feeling a high of being amongst it all. At this point, we are deep in the rural Mexican countryside. We've passed through innumerable towns and don't really know where we are.
Are we lost right now, honey?
No.
Are we wandering around little villages out in the middle of nowhere trying to find the way through?
See.
Oh, this sounds like an adventure.
Everyone's looking at us like we're aliens.
We are.
Not from this land.
Not from this land. So this is what we love about Mexico. We've been like off the beaten track for like a solid, I don't know, hour or so. And all of a sudden the pavement just starts.
Boom.
It's there.
Beautiful, fresh yellow line.
I for sure thought we were just on some random little road in the middle of nowhere.
Me too.
Here's the pavement.
Yeah.
And it's brand new.
Yeah.
It's brand new pavement. Beautiful. So nice.
Ironically, in true Mexican fashion, shortly after the road returned to rough, rocky gravel, and our pace was slowed once again. But that's okay. We're the slow roamers after all. We're not here to go fast. As we crested yet another small mountain range, the valley opened up below us and we could see yet again the familiar sugarcane fields and palm trees ahead. One thing that Mexico has an overabundance of, and possibly the only thing we don't like about the country, are the topes, especially the near invisible, unmarked hidden ones. the heck are we?
I get high in Colorado.
So we got the first gate of the route. Thank you, beautiful.
Then, in the blink of an eye, we were off the tarmac and following the real back route. This is the kind of stuff that you just can't foresee. Although I was pretty certain this route would take us to where we wanted to go, it was hard to believe it would. It's just part of the adventure. In today's world, we almost always know what to expect. The art of true adventure is maybe slowly being usurped by apps and programs packed full of information about any given route. It's a double-edged sword, of course. It's great to have the information, but sometimes I wonder if it all makes it just a little too easy.
I can't believe we just stumbled upon this. Holy smokes.
He's going rogue! He's taking his clothes off!
Oh my gosh. Oh, that's so good. Oh.
The fishes are after me.
Hey, we have to go back. We have to go back.
To that spot?
There's like, I just did a quick run up the river. There's like a magical oasis land over there. It's even better than this. Oh.
This right here is why we take the back routes. Don't set a time limit and wander slowly.
Is this not the most insane place we have ever camped?
It's chill. It's chill.
Whatever.
It's fine.
I just want to show off my excellent leveling job. Big rock there. Dug way in at the back there. Let's see it from a distance. Perfect. Yeah.
For dinner, I'm making some crispy tofu nuggets over rice with a refreshing Asian slaw. I start on the slaw by slicing jicama, carrot, and cabbage on my mandolin into thin, even pieces, and then I toast a handful of sesame seeds in a dry skillet until they're lightly golden, adding a nice nutty crunch to the mix. Next, I eyeball a quick dressing straight into the bowl using rice vinegar, sesame oil, soy sauce, and agave. Now onto the tofu. I slice the block into bite-sized pieces and set up my breading station with 3 bowls. One with potato starch, one with soy milk, and one with seasoned panko breadcrumbs. I used everything but the bagel seasoning here. Next, I dip each tofu piece into the 3 bowls to coat before frying them in hot oil until they're golden and crispy on all sides. Finally, I assemble my bowl. Freshly cooked rice, that crisp Asian slaw, and lay the tofu nuggies on top of the rice. To finish, I top it all off with a generous drizzle of Kewpie mayo and sriracha for me. This dinner is so delicious and my easy, unconventional take on Japanese katsu. Mmm.
What have you got, love?
We've got crispy tofu nuggets over a bed of rice with a jicama, carrot, and cabbage Asian sesame salad.
Wow. Let's eat.
Yummy!
We spent a day in this spot, taking periodic river dips throughout the day as the temperatures climbed into the 30s. It was a perfect piece of paradise for a full 36 hours. As night fell, plunging our world into darkness, we were lulled to sleep by the pitter-patter of rain on our roof. When the sun found our camp on the second morning, we woke to a low-hanging mist in the valley. Needless to say, we were not keen to leave. We could probably stay here forever, but the drive to see more is always present in our lives, and eventually we forced ourselves to pack up, start the engine, and hit the trail once again. The remaining few kilometers to our destination was another mixed bag of hard-packed soil, mud, and rock surface. As we paralleled the river, we got short glimpses of the many cascading oases along the waterway.
Love you. Your gate opening skills are unparalleled. Look at this. Absolutely spectacular.
then, as we approach the campground near the top of the falls, our first look at Cascada de Tamul. And boy oh boy, ain't it a beauty.
Alright, so we are on trail on the way to Tamul, and we were like a little bit worried that we wouldn't be able to do this hike because we heard reports that the property owner that way was charging 1,000 pesos per person or something like that to cross his property.
It's to hire a guide.
Yeah, basically someone to take you across the property. And because we came in the back way, we just paid for the waterfall back there, and we're on our way.
For 200 pesos.
For 200 pesos. Nice.
What we learned later is that there are two entrances, one via a company that accesses the falls by boat, and another via the campground at the top of the falls. The upper access requires some driving on some pretty rough road, but is significantly cheaper.
I didn't expect the waterfall to come with an infinity pool. That's cool. Liking these stairs?
Then, as though from the rolling thunder of falling water, I could hear a voice reminding me of my duty. It had been nigh on 4 months since my last sacrifice to the metal gods. Their bounty was due, and dare I deny them? That was totally metal, dude.
It's raining!
We are, for the first time on this trip, starting to experience real humidity, and climbing back up the stairs had us both huffing and puffing and covered in sweat. so it was with great relish that we took a dip in the Tamul-supplied infinity pool prior to us leaving. In case you've never experienced hundreds of little fish nipping at your skin, it's a rather disconcerting and surprising feeling, eliciting girl-like shrieks from a grown man.
Scream like a little girl who's gonna get you.
Yep.
Majestic. Very, very, very gorgeous.
As we drove south that evening, we were treated to possibly one of the most beautiful drives we've had in Mexico. Paired with a beautiful sunset, this long stretch of freshly laid tarmac through lush jungle, peppered with small villages and locals walking the streets, was a welcome treat after the long and rocky route we'd just taken. As evening descended and we hustled towards our camp spot for the night, I commented to Meg that when we return to Mexico for more exploring, we'll most definitely make a point of returning right back to this southern portion of the Huasteca Potosina region. It is absolutely spectacular.
This is cool, babe. Look at this castle.
The next morning, after a hot and fitful sleep of uneven ground, we hit the road early and started in the direction of Xilitla.
We need to do a little landscaping before the sign.
Xilitla is well known for its Las Posas attraction, a large garden with interesting concrete sculptures built throughout the jungle floor with something like 80 pools peppered throughout. This site, placed amongst the jungle landscape of Xilitla, makes for an interesting and unique juxtaposition.
Well, as they say, it's 5 o'clock somewhere.
Cerveza o'clock.
Cerveza o'clock. That doesn't rhyme quite as well as beer 30.
Cool.
Yeah.
It's like toucan adjacent.
We opted out of a tour and instead tried out the local cerveceria, which we learned brews a local beer that is an acquired taste, and we'll leave it at that.
Smells like a proper IPA, but it's a bit.
Yeah, it definitely smells like an IPA. Upon finishing drinks and playing with all the little creatures, we clumsily navigated the chaotic streets out of town and by that I mean we got lost in the network of steep and narrow roads with lots of one-ways. There are days when you have all the energy to tackle a place like Xilitla. Today for us was not one of those days. Soon after exiting the town centro, we were following a road out towards another camp spot for the night. With the cloud forest of the Sierra Gorda Mountains surrounding us, we slipped beyond the line of consciousness, delivered by the ever-present sound of crickets and jungle birds. We'd need our sleep, for before us lay a very long day of driving. In the morning before leaving Xilitla, we gathered some last-minute provisions before descending the mountains towards the 102, then turning back into the mountains on the 105.
More massive Mexican produce.
If there's not very many greens in our fridge, we can eat our weight in cilantro at least. This is only 10 pesos.
Look at that ball. Dang.
This is a new drink for you.
Oh,
It's a cantarito.
Cantarito. Okay.
Okay.
Alcoholic sugar waters.
This is the only meat I found. It's like pre-cooked, pre-shredded beef.
Nice. Goodbye, Xilitla.
The 102, with its continuous chain of small towns, topes, and traffic, is nothing short of organized chaos. Something we're growing more adept at navigating each day here in Mexico. Before we knew it, we were leaving San Luis Potosi for the last time and entering into the state of Hidalgo, then getting glimpses of the mountains ahead. From here, we're heading west towards the state of Mexico. We're dearly hoping that the growing comfort in navigating Mexico has prepared us for what's ahead. One of the largest cities in the world, Mexico City, because we are driving directly into the belly of the beast. Thank you for being here along with us on this journey. We hope that our stories and experiences inspire you and encourage you to get out there into the big, beautiful world that surrounds you in pursuit of your next big adventure, so you can make long-lasting memories. Until the next one, keep on roaming. If you'd like to see behind the scenes content, get route and camp spot information, or if you'd just like to help support us by putting gas in our tank each month, you can contribute on Patreon. And before you go, don't forget to check out slowroamers.com to get yourself some rad Slow Roamers merch.